Paris is a city that you fall in love with. It was a beautiful little streets, famous landmarks and amazing history. You can stroll along the Seine, see the Eiffel Tower sparkle, or visit Louvre to admire the great art. Paris is also about delicious food, fashions and a special romance. It's a place you will never forget. Welcome to Paris, the city of dreams. My name is Lev, and this is your complete guide how to spend your time in Paris correctly, safely, and the most important, with pleasure. After this video, you will be 10 times better oriented in Paris and will be able to competently plan everything in advance, so that your vacation was as comfortable and memorable as possible. This video is divided into episodes: place to visit during the day and after sunset, where to stay in Paris, where to eat, transportation system of Paris, and bonus personally from me. So I recommend it, watch this video to the end, and here we go! I will start with an attraction and I will divide this episode into two parts. The first part will about the attractions that best visit during the day or daylight, and the second part will about attractions that should be visited to the evening. The first place we will visit is Notre Dame de Paris. Notre Dame de Paris is one of the most famous landmarks of Paris and a masterpiece of Gothic architecture. Construction began in 1163 under King Louis VII and a bishop Marguerite de Sully, and it was completed in the 14th century. The cathedral has witnessed many historical events, including the coronation of Henry VI of England, the canonization of Joan of Arc, and in 1804 Napoleon Bonaparte crowned himself emperor here. In 2019 the world was shocked by a fire that destroyed a spire and a large part of the roof. The cause was believed to be a short circle on an accident during restoration work. Reconstitution started immediately, and the French President Emmanuel Macron promised that the cathedral will be reopened in 5 years, by the end of 2024. The grand reopening was attempted by world leaders such as Donald Trump, Volodymyr Zelensky and others. Interesting facts: the cathedral house important relics, including the crown of Thomas, which according to tradition was worn by Jesus Christ. The second fact about the main bell, which called Emmanuel, and it weighs 13 tons. And the last one about Notre Dame organ, and this is one of the largest organs in the world and has 8,000 pipes. It was damaged by smoke during the fire, but has since been restored. Entry to the cathedral remains free, however, the queues are very long, so keep it in the mind. Some special areas such as Notre Dame Treasury require a paid ticket. The treasury holds religious artifacts of great historical and artistic value. The opening hours are better to look at the official website. At the moment, there it is. Near Notre Dame de Paris is one of the most beautiful and mysterious churches in Paris. It's a real treasure of Gothic architecture, hiding on the Isle of Sight not far from Notre Dame. It's the most famous for its majestic stained glass window, which create a glass sky effect. The best time to visit is on sunny day. When the rays pass through its stained glass window, the space is filled with a standing play of light and color. It's a sight that's impossible to forget. Saint Chapel was built in 1248 by order of King Louis IX. Its main purpose was to house holy relics, including the crown of Thomas, which the king purchased from the Byzantine emperor. The chapel became part of the capital royal palace, and Louis IX was later canonized as a saint. The upper chapel is a true masterpiece. 15 massive stained glass windows, about 600 square meters of glass, depict 1113 biblical scenes. When sunlight shines through, the interior glows as if illuminated from within. The Louvre's chapel was designed for servants and has a more modest decoration, but still features beautiful frescoes. Unlike massive cathedrals, Saint Chapel feels light and delicate, as if walls are made only of glass. The Basilica of Sacre Coeur is one of the most iconic landmarks in Paris. Standing on Montmartre Hill, the high point in the city, is attract millions of visitors with unique architecture and breathtaking panoramic view. Climb to the Dome for one of the best view of Paris, even better than from the Eiffel Tower. The idea to build a basilica came after Franco-Prussian War. Many people consider it to defeat of France as a divine punishment and wanted to build a church as a symbol of spiritual renewal. Construction began in 1875 and lasted almost 40 years, and the church was dedicated in 1990 after the First World War. Here's an interesting fact. There is a long staircase of 237 steps leading up of the entrance of the Sacre Coeur. You can check it out if you wish, but the main thing is not to lose the count in the middle of the way. And some unique features. Built from white travertine stone, which self-cleans when it rains and keeping its bright appearance. Inside, you will find one of the largest mosaics in the world, the Glory of Christ, covering 475 square meters. The Opera Garnier, also known as the Palais Garnier, is more than just an opera house, it's a true architectural masterpiece. One of the most magnificent opera houses in the world, it embodies the luxury of the Second Empire. In 1858, Emperor Napoleon III announced a competition to build a new opera house in Paris. The winner was Charles Garnier, an unknown architect at that time. The construction lasted from 1861 to 1875, surviving the Franco-Prussian War and the fall of the Second Empire. When the opera was completed, it stands in the public with its gold, marble and opulent decor, becoming a symbol of 19th century Parisian glamour. A visit to the Opera Garnier in Paris for a self-guided tour costs €15 for adults. There is a reduced rate of €11 for young people and children under 25. Children under 12 can visit the opera for free. The opera is open to the public from 10 to 17, with last admission allowed 45 minutes before closing. If you plan to attend a performance at Opera Garnier, a ticket price can vary significantly depending on the event or a seating selection. It's recommended to check the schedule and the price in advance on the official Garnier website or sought authorized ticket vendors. And of course, the Arc of the Triumph is perhaps one of the most iconic landmarks in Paris, located almost in the center. It rises majestically at the end of Champs Elysees and is symbolized as the military victories of France. The Arc is separated from the main streets on a small island which is surrounded by a road, and the only way to approach is to run across the road. The Arc was commissioned by Napoleon Bonaparte in 1806, after his victory at Austerlitz. He wanted his soldiers to march home in triumph beneath it. However, due to political changes and constitution delays, it was only completed in 1836 under King Louis Philippe. The size is shocking. Height 40 meters, width 45 meters, and also interesting facts. 660 French generals and 128 battles are engraved on these walls. Beneath the arc lies the tomb of unknown soldier, with eternal flame burning since 1923 in memory of soldiers who died in World War I. In 1919, pilot Charles Godefroy flew his plane through the arc to celebrate France's victory. After visiting the Arc de Triomphe, I highly recommend you exploring the streets below. There are so many stores that you can find something interesting items, including souvenirs, and you can also see the legendary Louis Vuitton hotels. In my opinion, it's a bit tasteless, but at the same time, it wouldn't feel the same without it. What do you think about it? Let me know in the comments. The Pantheon is a majestic landmark in the heart of Paris' Latin Quarter, serving as the final resting place for France's most influential figure. It holds 75 thrones, including philosophers, science, and famous writers, a blend of ancient and neoclassical architecture. The Pantheon's grand design inspired by Roman and Greek temples, featuring tall corridor columns and an impressive dome visible across Paris. What about history of Pantheon? It was built in the 18th century by order of King Louis XV as a church dedicated to Saint Genevieve, the patron saint of Paris. Construction started in 1758 and was completed in 1719 during the French Revolution. The church was transformed into Sacre Mausoleum honoring France's greatest figures. The height is 83 meters. The dome dominates the Parisian skyline. Stunning frescoes depicting France's history and the life of Saint Genevieve. Originally, the Pantheon had no windows. All light entered through the dome. Over the years, it switched between being a church and a mausoleum multiple times. Be sure to go up to observation deck where you will get one of the best view of Paris. The ticket costs around 12 euros and US students under 26 can enter for free. The Pantheon is a place where the history of France meets eternity. Before heading to the tower, I highly recommended first visiting the view platform across from it just before sunset. The Eiffel Tower is the most recognizable landmark in Paris and one of the most visited monuments in the world. Originally meant to be temporary, it became France's internal symbol. Designed by engineer Gustave Eiffel for the 1889 World's Fair, celebrating 100 years of the French Revolution. At 330 meters, it was the tallest building in the world until 1913, when the Chrysler Building in New York City surpassed it. Initially, artists and architects hated it, calling it Monster City, but over time it won hearts of Parisians. In 1909, the tower was almost demolished, but was saved and repurposed as a radio transmission tower. Fascinating facts about Eiffel Tower. The Eiffel Tower built with 80,000 iron parts and weighs 10,000 of tons. The tower expands and contracts with a temperature change up to 50 centimeters difference. Sparkles with 20,000 lights every evening, creating an unforgettable show. There are also elevators in the tower, and with their help you can go up to 3 levels. The first floor 57 meter, glass floor and restaurant. The second floor 160 meters, the best view of the city. And the third floor 276 meter, observation deck and Eiffel's office. There are several restaurants on the Eiffel Tower, but the most famous is Le Jules Verne, an elegant establishment with a stunning view of Paris. To be honestly, I haven't been there, but if you have a desire and the money, why not? If you are worried about how the Eiffel Tower stands and doesn't wobble, Eiffel, the engineer who built the Eiffel Tower, designed the tower so that it can expand and contract depending on the temperature, up to 15 cm difference. There is also an interesting story how in 1925 con artist Victor Lustig sold the Eiffel Tower for scrap metal twice. I will share more about this funny situation in my Telegram channel, you can find the link in description below this video. And after sunset, when the Eiffel Tower starts to be illuminated, you can get closer to it to appreciate how huge the tower is. One of the important things you need to know is that every hour the tower starts to flicker for 5 minutes, and then for the remaining 55 minutes it just burns without flickering. Also near the tower there are always some sellers who try to sell you a small copy of the tower or offer to take a picture of you and then ask you for money. And here I ask you to be carefully and attentive. Please watch your stuff for your own good. The atmosphere that takes place within the radius of the Eiffel Tower is simply beyond words. You might be wondering, why visit Louvre at the evening if it's closed? The answer is simple, we are not going inside, but instead enjoying a stunning architecture from the outside. Think about how many movies and shows have been filmed here, especially at night, it looks like something out of fairy tale. The Louvre is not just glass pyramid with a painting inside. The museum is housed in a massive palace with 1,000 years history. It was originally a fortress, then a royal residence, full of intrigues and luxury, and now it's the largest and the most visited museum in the world, covering 72,735 square meters. It's a great idea to come here in the evening and take a couple of cool pictures. But if you want to visit the Louvre in the room where the Mona Lisa stands, here's a couple of tips. The Mona Lisa is in room 711. Ticket costs 17 euros, but every first Sunday of the month from October to March, admission is free. Be sure to book your tickets online or risk you waiting in line for hours. But still, if you have not booked tickets, it's better to come in the morning or evening to avoid queues. Well, here's a fun fact for you. If you give 30 seconds to each exhibit of the Louvre, it will take you 200 days to see it. So keep it in the mind. Let's take a break from beautiful buildings. I want to tell you about Parisian fairs, which happen quite often. And I don't want to spoil for you or discourage in any way, but I didn't like the New Year's fair in Paris. There were a lot of people, not much space, prices, I think you understand. Well, I didn't like it. Maybe I wasn't at the right time, but you have to realize that the fair opens in the evening. There were several fairs in Paris in the same period of time, but they're all similar in problems and atmosphere. I had to mention this to give you the most realistic picture about it, but let's not lose our positive vibe and move to something more exciting. The shopping center Galeries Lafayette Haussmann. It's a legendary shopping center of Paris, combining luxury, fashion and art. People come here not only to shopping, but also to admire it as a standing architecture. Gallery was founded in 1894 by Théophile Bader and Alphonse Kahn, who started with a small fabric store. In 1912, a building with a magnificent dome opened, which became a symbol of the gallery. Today, it's one of the largest and the most prestigious department stores in the world. What inside? More than 700 stores with brands from Chanel and Dior to Rolex, gastronomic paradise. The 43-meter crest dome, intricate balconies and golden details make it feel more like a palace than a shopping mall. Even if you don't buy anything, just walking around is a treat. Also, one of the best free views in Paris. Grab a coffee and a soak in the panoramic view of the city skyline. The store frequently hosts fashion events, exhibitions and even cooking classes, making every visit unique. The gallery is visited by about 37 million people a year. It's more than Eiffel Tower. And every new year a giant Christmas tree is erected and hangs from the dome. And some advice for tourists: make sure to go up to the free observation deck. It offers a stunning view of Paris. Also, foreign visitors can get 10% tax-free refund or purchase over 100 euros. If you want, I can create a post in my Telegram channel about it. Another important topic: where to stay in Paris. I will be brief and stick to the facts. If your goal is to explore history or to visit famous landmarks, choose the areas to the main attractions. 7 arrondissements: Eiffel Tower, House on Invalids, Museum d'Orsay, a great option if you want to live within a walking distance of famous place. The first arrondissement, Louvre, Toulouse Gardens, Palais Royal. This neighborhood is ideal for lovers of royal history. Also close by the Opera Garnier and architecture Gem. Isle de Lassa is the heart of Paris, home to Notre Dame, Sainte-Chapelle and Concierge, the place of Marie Antoinette's imprisonment. And Montmartre, this is 18th arrondissement, is a historical neighborhood with bohemian atmosphere where artists such as Picasso lived. Its hill offers stunning views of the city, with the Sacre Coeur Basilica as the main attraction. For food lovers and gastronomy enthusiasts, Paris is paradise for food lovers, but some districts stand out for their incredible variety of cuisine. South Miguel, a quarter known for its modern bistros and cozy restaurants with a trendy atmosphere. Saint-Germain-des-Prés combines classic French restaurant, famous historical cafe and gastronomic bistros. The next one is south of the 11th arrondissement. Everything from haute cuisine to street food and international dishes can be found here. A great choice for those who want to try variety of gastronomic concepts. 8 arrondissements, fine restaurants including Michelin establishment, but the neighborhood is generally more businesslike and empty in the evening, so it's not really recommended. 4 shopping properties. If your goal is shopping, there is an ideal neighborhood to stay in. Opera. This is a nice arrondissement. This is where the main department stores of Paris, such as Galeries Lafayette and the Printemps, are located. It's the best place to shop for luxury brands and French fashion. The next one is Les Halles, combining the large shopping center Les Halles and the cozy streets Rue Montegrel with the street markets and the shops. A great place to combine shopping and a gastronomy discovered. The last one is Marais, a neighborhood ideal for those looking for design boutiques, vintage store and a conceptual showrooms. For unique experience, depending on your preference, you can choose different type of accommodation for truly special stay. Luxury hotels. The 8th arrondissement offers upscale hotels, but aside from them, there isn't much to see in the neighborhood. The second one is hotels overlooking the Eiffel Tower. The 7th arrondissement is the best option if you dream of waking up with a panoramic view of the city's main landmarks. The third is boutique hotels and cozy Airbnbs. Marriott's and Saint-Germain-des-Prés are ideal for those looking for atmospheric accommodation. To live like a local, if you want to feel a real Parisian atmosphere, consider staying in this atmospheric neighborhood. As I already said, Saint-Pégal is a stylish and cozy neighborhood with small cafes and boutiques. A great mix of trendy and local places. North Montmartre. This part of the neighborhood is much quieter than the south part, which is crowded with tourists. Here you can experience the rustic charm of old Paris. Batignolles is a family neighborhood with the local markets, green parks and a leisure atmosphere, one of the nicest to live in non-tourist Paris. And the best still, combines local restaurants, bars and authentic streets. It's home to one of the best food markets in Paris, Boulevard Richard Lenoir. In the end, the best place to stay depends on your personal preference. I try to explain it as clearly and simply as possible. You can book a place on popular websites like Airbnb or Booking, but besides these sites, you can also find the hotels directly on Google Maps and book there. Additionally, in the description below this video, you will find a few French booking services to make things even easier for you. In the morning, I also went to the coffee shops nearby and bought delicious pasties and coffee. All the bakeries I have been to have delicious items, so I don't think you can go wrong. But the best part is the restaurants. I want to tell you about a bouillon restaurants chain. Bouillons are classic Parisian restaurants offering traditional French dishes and affordable price. Their history began in the 18th century as a place for workers where they served broth with beef. Today bouillons are delicious food, classic French interiors and a friendly atmosphere. Top bouillons in Paris. Number 1 is a Bouillons Charter, the most oldest and the most famous. Since 1896, open every day from 11:30 am to midnight. Belle Époque building, high ceiling paintings, historical interior. The menu changes daily, but the price remains super affordable. Most dishes are less than €10. The waiters write the order directly on the paper tablecloth, and the check is also right on it. Huge room, but despite this, tables are often taken quickly. In total, we paid $34 for 2 including drinks. Great value for money. Verdict: a true classic, perfect for those waiting and experience old Paris. The second one, Petit Bouillon Paramount. The best balance of price, quality and atmosphere. A historic restaurant that became a bouillon in 2019. Low price and the quality of food is better. Unlike other bouillons, there is not such a long line if you come early. Average bill is €27 for great food and drinks. I think this is super budget. Verdict: top choice for delicious food, the good atmosphere and affordable price. Bouillon Racine, elegant interior but high prices. Opened in 1906, recognized as a historical monument in 1995. The most luxury interior among all bouillons. Art Nouveau, mirrors, scroll panels. Prices are higher than the average bouillon, but the quality of food corresponds. Average check was €42 per person. Not exactly the format of the budget bouillon. One of the most beautiful restaurant, excellent food, but a bit pricey for bouillon. Bouillon Julian, stunning design and great food. Opened in 1906. What's special? This is one of the most beautiful restaurants in Paris. The prices are slightly higher than the Cartier bouillon, but the food is better. And the average bill was 25 euro for full meal with drinks. I think good value for money. Gorgeous decor, delicious dishes and responsible prices. Bouillon Pigalle, modern take on traditional, opened in 2017. No historical entourage, but a good imitation of traditional cuisine. Menu in 8 languages, the most convenient in terms of reservation, but the atmosphere is less authentic. And the check was 35 euro for 2 people. Verdict: a great competitive choice if you are not looking for historical atmosphere. So let's summarize. Best on all counts, Petit Bouillon paramount. Delicious food, nice interior, good location. The most budget-friendly, Bouillon Cartier and a Bouillon Pigalle. The most beautiful interior, Bouillon Racine. The best food quality, Bouillon Racine and a Bouillon Julien. And the less impressive is Bouillon Pigalle, less authentic. In conclusion, if you are in Paris and want to try authentic French cuisine without spending too much, bouillons would be a great choice. Here's a couple of tips. Optimal time are before 12 p.m. for lunch and 7 p.m. for dinner. Most bouillon accepted at card, but it's better to have some cash, especially in bouillon's charter. Tipping is optional in France as the service is already included in the bill, but if you like the service, you can leave 1 or 2 euros or maybe more. If you want to try real French food without spending too much, bouillons are perfect choice. The main thing is come to time and enjoy the atmosphere. And the last point in this video is transportation and getting around, and believe me, you will have moved around quite a lot. The first one, public transport, and everything you need to know at the moment 2025, it's paper tickets are not longer used. So we have only electronic solution, it's Navigo tickets, order and smartphone tickets. Where can I buy Navigo cards? You can buy Navigo travel cards at vending machine in the metro, rail, streetcar and a train station, Eiffel de France mobilates offices at major stations and some tobacco kiosks. One tip, there are English language vending machines at metro and a rail station. You can top up your card at the same machine where you bought your ticket at metro or rail station. So what navigation features we have? A single ticket costs 2.5 euro. Day pass costs 12 euro. Weekly pass costed 31 euro 60 cents. Valid from Monday to Sunday. Important, you must understand, if you don't have a travel card, you will have to buy one, and depending on your fare, it can cost it from 2 to 6 euros. The Paris transportation network is very extensive and includes 16 subway lines, 320 stations, trains run every 2 or 3 minutes, 5 rail lines, it's faster subway trains within favor stops, 12 streetcar lines, mostly in the suburbs, 347 bus lines, and funicular in Montmartre. So, which fare should you choose? If you travel infrequently, Navigo Easy plus single ticket. When you travel for 5 or 7 days, then Navigo Découverte plus weekly pass. This is very cost effectively. There is a river streetcar, the Bata bus, which runs along the Siena and stops at points of interest. In the eastern part of the city, the Televille cable car is a great attraction and a way of reach hard-to-reach areas. And don't forget, plan but leave room for spontaneity. And come back in different season, Paris in spring with blooming trees, and Paris in Christmas with festival lights feel like 2 different cities. Also, keep this guide, I'm sure you will love it. Thank you for being with me. If this video was useful, would you like, subscribe to the channel and write in the comments what city to tell about next time. Maybe Rome, visit Mysterious or Old Prague. I don't know, maybe. Bye bye.